Hi everyone. Today I am going to scrapbook this picture of my husband. He thinks he was roughly 28, 29. So that was probably, what, 30 some years ago. But I love this picture. And I was thinking of using these two pieces of paper. One of them is from that Simply Vintage Ancestry. And then I got thinking about how once I reprinted the paper or the photo, I thought, oh, I have that wood paper that kind of looks like, you know, the inside of a barn. And it's actually got a saddle here, and he's got a saddle over his shoulder. And I'll tell you, I used to pick up that saddle, and it was so heavy. I don't even understand how cowboys went around like that. But anyhow, I decided to use this, and so I've gutted the other paper I was going to use, and I am going to antique it, and I'm using Vintage Photo. Let's see where I've kind of got stuff on the edge. So anyhow, I'm using an old Creative Memory album, and so I needed to cut everything down like a ½ inch. I just really had an issue with that, but I thought I'm gonna use that album, so it's like I've had it for years, and I thought I'm just gonna go ahead and use that album because I'm gonna do an album of his life before we met and my life before we met, and then I've got one of us. And I don't know how much will get done. I'll get done of those because I have, or you know, very fast because I have the grandchildren. But I love this picture, and I just got thinking about it when I bought that Ancestry paper. And so I thought, oh, I need to do that because he used to do the old time photos. But then I thought, I do have one that looks like more like that kind of a scene. And I thought, I just really want to do this one so it looks Western. Every time I see it, I just hear the music from The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. Because of it being, he looks like he's got on that outfit that, like, Clint Eastwood wore in that movie, so I always think of that. Okay, so this way, so it's like the Creative Memories is, it's 12 inches this way, but less than 11.5 inches this way. So I had to cut everything down. And so now I'm going to put this down, and you know I only do half. And I should have had this all put down before I started. I guess I'm gonna do a little bit here and a little bit here. But I glue it all down when I'm done. But I'm just gonna wing it because I just have such a problem with the trying to use the the T-square. And now if I brought up, I've got a metal one that I used for architecture class, and when I draw floor plans, that it's like I don't have as much problem with that one. I don't know what the deal with using the plastic one is. Okay, it's a little bit more to one side than the other, but I'm already over it. Okay, so I had this from my plans, and I'm just going to use that too. But first, I had this in my, it's like a homemade paper, and I had that in my scraps, and it's just, it's a little, what do I want to say? I only had enough to mat just the picture size. So I thought, well, that's going to be my first layer then. And then I'm going to mat that with black. And I was really into having a white line, you know, matting everything in white. But it's like lately I've just been, as Janet would say, try to get more of the mood and the feel. So sometimes it doesn't even get a matte, or sometimes it gets a colored matte, like in this case. Okay, so. So it was just enough. It's like 6 1/8 by 4 1/8. And then I'm gonna use a black after that. Oh, and I guess I can close this up because I shouldn't be, I think I'm done antiquing. Oh, until I get to the letter. And I thought about doing 2 mattes, and then when I found this paper, I thought, oh, I love that. And the things in there is very sepia tone, so it's like it looks really good with that antiqued orange behind there. And then this was another paper that I had in my scraps. And you know, I'm like really excited to use scraps, especially it's like I thought it really made it look nice. So I made this one, I usually go like 1/8 of an inch wider, and this I did like 3/8 wider, I think, when you measure the whole thing. Oh, and it's kind of torn here because my blade needed to be changed, and I did change it. Okay, now since this is supposed to look like a letter from his love, which is me, even though I didn't know him 30 years ago. You know, in my mind, I just kind of make a story about it when it's something that's not realistic, you know, like fairies and my cowboy. So I folded it because I want it to look like a letter, and I'm just gonna kind of antique it a little, and I'm gonna antique, you know, he's been riding the range. It's like, you know, you gotta antique a little bit of the fold because, you know, it's been in his pocket for a long time. Don't you see it? I thought, oh, I wish I had a movie name. It was so funny. I was at my friend's house, and I was kind of gathering stuff together, some embellishments and stuff. And and I chose all different embellishments than what I had planned to. So anyhow, she goes, oh, he looks just like this guy on this Western. She goes, you know, Medicine or Dr. Quinn or whatever. And then she goes, that guy was in another Western. And then she looked it up. Well, it wasn't that guy at all. Who was she thinking he looked like? Lee Horsley. Horsley, I think is his name. And when he was in some cowboy movie with the beard and stuff. But I think, didn't he play a like a private eye or a detective back in the 80s? I think he did. If you know the answer, leave it down below. Because we were trying to think of that, but I didn't look it up. But we did look up who the guy was that was in this. I think it was called Paradise or whatever, something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put this letter behind him, and I guess even though I folded it, maybe I'm gonna pull it out a little bit so that you kind of see the fold. Okay, and maybe I think I'm gonna tape him on it first. Just because I want to be able to see that fold. Oh, am I doing it the wrong way? Yep, because I want it like this. Okay, so, and then maybe pull it up just a little. I think that's about where I want it. Let's see. And then I want him to be straight, but the letter to be cockeyed like that. So I think that's probably about the place for it. And now I'm gonna pull out my dreaded T-square and try to get him straight, because I kind of want him about in the floor space because of it being like this. Like there's I want him at that angle. So let's see if I can do that. Okay, that should do it. Oh, I think I have them over too far. Now let me pull them off and do it again because I want them over here a little bit more. Because I want them a little closer to the other saddle. He'll love it that I scrapbooked a page about him. Okay, so I've got that. And I'm going to put on the other embellishments before the, oops, I got an extra dot here, before I do the title, because I don't even know where I'm putting the title yet. Because I got everything ready and then I realized I didn't have a title. So, okay, and then I'm going to tuck this clock in here. And maybe I want to antique that a little bit more too. I'm just going to do the one side because the other side isn't even going to be showing. Okay, so I'm going to stick this in here. Maybe about there. And this is like these are from Tim Holtz. And it's just like little vintage, I don't even know what it's called. They came like in a bag. I think I got them for half price at Hobby Lobby. And it looks like one of those old time, they used to call cabinet photos, would come up in a little thing like this. Oh, I've got it. And I'm just gonna have it kind of sticking out, like maybe there's a photo underneath there, but we can't see it. And then I got this thing that's called Regulator Almanac Memoranda. So these look like maybe they could have been around at that time period. So I'm just kind of tucking these things in. Oh, this is from 1890 it says. So maybe I'll keep that where it's showing. So I'm gonna maybe do that over the clock. The little, see, this is the envelope to this letter. Okay, and now I've got some little thing, reminds me of a label on a record, but it's not. It's very tiny. And it says red ointment, some kind of ointment. Okay, that you probably got from the, you know, the snake oil salesman. Okay, and where do I want to stick that? Maybe there. Okay. Hope it needs to be a little more antiqued since I thought I was tucking it in. Okay. And then over here, I got return registered letter. Okay, and I'm sure they had to send it by telegraph, so I'll have to cover up the postage mark. I don't know, they probably had something like that. Let's see, I want it tucked in a little bit more. Okay, and then I've got another letter. I don't even know why I bought these that day that I bought them, because it's like I hadn't been doing any vintage photos, but I love vintagey stuff. I would love to just do vintagey stuff all the time, but you know, we're not living back then. We got to do the grandkids. I love doing those too. Okay, this says parcel post. I'm just going to stick that right across there. And then I have some boots, which are stickers. And I think these are creative memories. And I'm probably going to wish I glued that down, so I think I'm going to glue this down real quick before I start taping over the edge. Or putting a sticker over the edge, I mean. Huh, I wonder if somebody's tilling up my garden. Sounds like somebody's out there. Sometimes our neighbor will till up our garden at the beginning of spring, but he didn't tell us he was going to. Usually he asks ahead of time. Okay, so, but I know my husband had talked to him about it. Okay, I'm just gonna stick that down. That should be good enough. Okay. I'm gonna put this cowboy boot here, just kind of overlapping the picture a little bit. And then this one overlapping that boot a little. And then I've got a hat, cowboy hat. Okay, and then I got some more of these little vintagey tickets, and I also have a rope. Okay, and I did that, tape that down. So I've got a rope, so it looks like he'd tie up his horse. So I'm just putting that kind of over the bottom of this letter and over the bottom part of this picture, or the layers of mats. And it's kind of that transparency stuff, so I'm just trying. So this is not from the same collection. It's probably one that I bought at Hobby Lobby. Okay, and then I've got John Bailey and Company. And I'm just antiquing it a little. Oh, I think I wanted, do I want that one first? These ones are all so close to the same size, I'm not sure which I kind of planned on doing first, but I'll go ahead and put these. Ah! And I'm just putting this one right up next to the mat. And I'm going to do the same thing with this. It says Traveler, 5 cents. I don't know what it was supposed to be for. Okay, and I'm gonna put that over the rope if I can get it off, stuck from my finger. De-stuck from my finger. Okay. And I wonder if did I put glue underneath that first one? Yes, I did. Okay. And then I've used a red thing on each one of them. Oh, and I guess it got a little extra one because it's got the postage stamp. So do I want this one here first? I think I'll use this one. So I'm lining that right up next to that bottom mat. And this I'm going to kind of tuck up over top of everything. Okay. And then, shut my glue real quick. Oh, I forgot my mat because I'm going to poke holes. I'll be right back. Okay, while I had the camera off, I went ahead and put on the title because you know what time I have with those. And they're burlap. And I also put on these, they're like an eyelet, but they're called a snap. And then these little copper brads. And I thought I would show you how the snaps go on because they were quite awesome to put on. It was really easy. Okay, so I'm gonna, remember this will be the loud part. So I'm gonna put one right here. And this paper, the whole thing went through so quickly. And so again, you just put this in here just like if it was an eyelet. And I don't know if they sell snaps anymore. These are from, you know, probably 20 years ago. And again, you use this little piece, just like when you put the eyelets in. But I'll tell you this, these ones, they made the perfect little flower shape when I put it on. So it really worked good. Here's the other two. Here's the other one. Really went on super nice. And then this thing here I use, it's like from jewelry or something. And I just poke with my scissors. Now these were smaller brads than I usually put on. And I had my needle nose here on the table. So it's like, wow, that went in so much easier by just, you know, taking this and putting it in that slot that I made. Kind of pulling it apart with my nail. And then I actually took the hammer and pushed it down. And it was so much easier than the ones I've done before. And so I've got all that stuff on and it is finished. I called it Hey Cowboy. I thought that would be a cute title. And so if anybody knows what that private eye guy that I was telling you, his name was Lee Horsley. And if you know what the private eye thing is, put it down below because I would like to know. And I think it was in the 80s and I'm pretty sure he was the guy in it. But anyhow, yeah, my friend thought he looked like from this movie or series, Paradise. She goes, oh, he kind of looks like him. So anyhow, we had to look him up. And well, I'm done for today. And remember, if you liked it, give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed before, please do so. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.